Hello and welcome to this introductory case study in this new course, Data Analysis and Data Analytics. So in this lecture, we will take a look at a case study of building excellence in data analysis and analytics to become a successful analyst. And here is one of the most powerful professional journeys uh, in these days times of building excellence in data analysis and analytics to become a successful data analyst. Now, here we have this challenging and interesting case study that shows how an individual moved from being a data handler, handling data, to data driven decision making. Right. So, let us get into this course. So this is the case study of Daniel Kim, name mask, face mask here, taken for example, the name as Daniel Kim, whose background is that he's a bachelor's in business administration and was working in sales support roles for 3 years when this case was written, right? Now, his goal in life was to become a data analyst capable of driving strategic insights for management. And what was his challenge? His challenge was that while he was good with spreadsheets, but he lacked the analytical mindset, tools mastery, and storytelling. So that was the situation, right? So let's dig deeper into the challenge. It was a case of a data rich but with poor insights. Now, Darius' job involved preparing weekly sales report for a retail chain, right? However, the leadership often ignored his reports. And when he asked why, his manager said, your reports show numbers, but they don't tell us what to do next. And Daniel realized that he was only collecting and summarizing data, not analyzing it. And what he needed to do was to build true data analysis excellence of turning information into actionable insight, the full spectrum from right data to actionable insights, right? So that was the challenge as Daniel understood after digging deep and getting feedback from his manager. So what did he do? What was the turning point? See, the turning point happened when he changed from problems to problem solving from reporting. And how did that happen? Daniel enrolled in a weekend data analytics certification program. And what he learned there as key insight was that data analysis isn't about tools, it's about asking better questions, right? And he decided to apply this structured analysis to his work, not just study theories, right? So that's what the turning point where he chose to move from plain reporting to problem solving, going across the spectrum of data analysis from left to right, as you see here. So, what was the framework he used in doing this step by step transformation? He used this DATA, Data Mastery Framework. Now, what does that mean really? Let's understand that each part of the acronym. See, basically he defined the problem at the first stage, where the core challenge was that the report were descriptive but not diagnostic. And what Daniel did was he framed every report around a business question. Say, for example, why is region B underperforming? And the tools he learned to use and started using was problem from framing and to find reasons 5 whys. And as a result, he identified the revenue drop linked to late promotions in that particular region B, for example. Then he acquired and analyzed the data as a second stage. Where, and the main challenge there is the data isn't available on your table. It is scattered across Excel files and organization. So Daniel learned to use SQL to pull clean, consistent data. The word is clean and consistent. And learn to pull data. The tools obviously used was SQL, Excel, Power Query. And the result was improved data accuracy with 25%. Now he had clean, good data to use. Then the third stage was to transform the data into insights. And the challenge was too focused on averages, right? So he started finding trends, anomalies, and relationships. And for that, he used pivot tables, correlation, and regression. And that the whole process revealed that the product mix, not sales volume, drove the profitability in the region B. And then the final act comes of acting through storytelling, where the challenge is that the insights are not communicated effectively. And Daniel's action there was to build visual dashboards with key takeaways. And he used Power BI, data storytelling frameworks, etc. And the outcome was that leadership used his dashboards for strategy review, which is what he wanted, right? So, what was the breakthrough moment? So, as we were seeing, the major sales region East was consistently missing targets by 10%. And everyone blamed poor sales performance. And the breakthrough moment was when Daniel decided to investigate further, applying his new data analytical mindset to use data to actionable insights and decision making. So that was the breakthrough moment. So, how did he investigate the Eastern region sales decline? Let's take a look at the steps Daniel took. So he collected multi-source data, combined point of sale, CRM, and marketing campaign data, and he learned that promotion started 2 weeks late, and that he identified that impacted the process lag, impacted the outcome. Then he analyzed the customer segments by clustering customers by spend frequency and found 20% of the loyal customers stopped buying one category. And result was he started doing focused product review, right, on that category. He performed correlation and regression analysis in the three step by analyzing pricing versus sales volume and found negative correlation beyond 10% discount. So impact was to avoid over discounting, right? Because that affected negatively. The fourth step was to create actionable dashboard. He built Power BI dashboard linking region, product, and timing, and made insights visible to manager. Because the challenge was to convince his manager now. And there the impact was the promotion scheduling was realigned and the outcome. The fifth step of outcome, regional revenue was up 12% in the next quarter, and he was recognized by his management as insight of the quarter. What is a journey, right? So Daniel had moved, as you can see here, from a data preparation to data interpreter to making a business impact. And that involved doing the five things that you saw here. So let's take a look at the framework insight model for data analysis excellence, similarly on the line of what we saw earlier. So you need to start with identifying the business problem, and that helps you build the competency of problem solving by asking questions like what decision will this data drive? And for that, you need to practice by creating problem statement for every analysis that you. Before you collect the data and analyze, you need to ask, what am I trying to solve? What problem am I trying to solve? Then you investigate the data sources. You discover data. That's a competence you need to develop. And there you need to find, clean, and connect data from multiple sources. And the practice that you can do to learn that is to learn SQL, to ETL basics, extract, transform, and load basics. ETL standing for that. And then the third step is to structure the analysis and by developing the analytical logic competency. And there you do hypothesis testing and patterns finding, and that you can do with Kaggle data sets. The practice can be done with Kaggle data sets. Then you interpret the results that you get from real lives with statistical reasoning competency, where you distinguish correlation versus causation. Very important. Ultimately, you don't want cause. You want cause. You don't want simple correlation. And there, practice like regression of clustering models can help you find out what is correlation only and what is causation. Then you generate insights, where you need to develop the business storytelling competency and where you link data patterns to business meaning. And to practice that, you need to use Power BI and Tableau to be able to make that story and visualize it. The next step is to highlight actionable recommendations, and there you start developing the competency of decision framing, recommending. And what you do there is you end the analysis with what to do next, make those clear suggestions, and practice can be done by presenting action with expected impact. And finally, once you have the decision accepted, you track the results to see continuous improvement, and there you measure business performance outcomes from the past action, the action that you suggested. And that you can do by reporting on KPIs on a monthly basis. So that's the insight model for this data analysis excellence. So, what are the key turning points? What are the things that turn mindset? Where does the old mindset change to the new mindset? So, old thinking is data is only reporting, whereas the new thinking is data is for decision making. The reporting is of no use if it is not useful for making a decision. The old thinking is I will show what happened. What you need to do in the new thinking is to explain why it happened and what is next, not only show what happened. So showing only one quarter of a picture is not worth it. Then the old thinking is I need to have my data accurate because accuracy is everything. Now new thinking is you need accuracy and relevance to build some insight for decision making. And the earlier focus is only on Excel as a tool, whereas now you need to think my tool is thinking. Excel, SQL, Power BI, just these enablers, right? So thinking is the main thing where you figure out what are the causes and how can that help you build uh, the business impact better. So another thing that happened that we'll talk about here is the capstone challenge, with which Daniel did predictive sales forecasting. So after a year, Daniel was asked to forecast quarterly sales using predictive analytics, something that he had not done before. And he decided to use Python and regression models to predict trends, right? And what he did was data started with data cleaning, whereby removing missed data and stabilizing format. And he learned to gain the confidence in data pre-processing. He learned about data pre-processing using Python and regression models. Then he did feature engineering, where he added seasonality and promotion timing and learned the impact of external factors through this feature engineering. The third step he did was build a model by using linear regression in Python, and that was his first exposure to predictive modeling. That is what he learned there. Then he validated his model, tested accuracy on previous quarters, achieved 88% forecast accuracy, and presented his findings by building a dashboard showing predicted versus actual, and leaders started trusting his analytical foresight even more. So that was another, you know, uh, phase in the life of Daniel in this journey. So what was Daniel's thinking? What did he think about? What did he reflect about his whole life in these years, in these months? He said, I stopped being a data handler, right? When I started thinking about a business partner. So it starts with your mind shift. You need to say, I'm no more a data handler. I want to think about, decision making and help the business make better decisions. And that happens the moment he said, I asked why before what, and that changed everything. So that was the key reflection from Daniel. So what is the data analyst excellence ladder? Let's take a look at that. So you start as an explorer where you learn the basics and you develop competency in SQL, Excel, and Power BI. And there, what you do, for example, the practices of cleaning and summarizing simple data sets, and that's a starting point. Everyone has to start there. But you don't need to stop there. Then you need to go to the next level of interpreter where you identify insights using analytical logic and you do descriptive and diagnostic analysis that you will see in this course. Then you become a storyteller, the third stage, as you keep moving up, where you start communicating value. And that you do by visualization and narratives, by building dashboards and presentation. Then you move to the fourth level of your excellence ladder of being a strategist, where you start influencing decisions. And that needs business acumen that you can develop and that you do by framing recommendation and measuring the outcomes. And the final thing is final top of the ladder is innovator, where you predict and automate. And there you use tools like Python, machine learning, automation, etc. for competency, and where you develop predictive and prescriptive models. So that's the ladder. So start from explorer and see where you are, and then move to become an innovator. So what was the outcome of his this data analysis excellence in action? So he was promoted to lead analytics projects across three regions. Daniel was promoted, and he reduced the report preparation time by 60% using automation, trained new hires to insight communication. He started getting into mentoring roles and was recognized for converting analytics into measurable revenue gains. So that was the outcome from this journey of Daniel. So, what is the final takeaway? Now, excellence in data analysis is not about mastering tools only, it's about mastering curiosity, clarity, and communication. Now, to become a successful data analyst, you as an individual must learn to ask the right business questions, clean and structure messy data effectively, apply analytical logic, not just formulas, right? Communicate insights in business language, and continuously measure and refine their impact. So that's the final takeaway as I see. So, what do we do next now? What else? We get on with taking a look at data analysis and data analytics by taking an overview in the next set of lectures, where we will talk to you about what are the various things that you need to do to become an excellent data analysis and analytics data analyst. And then rest of the course, we will start talking about how can you do that in real life, right? So thank you so much for watching this introductory case study in this course, Data Analysis and Data Analytics Excellence. I hope you're continuing to learn new things. You're beginning to learn new things, beginning to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.